Have you ever seen someone so confident in their stupidity that they practically set themselves up for failure? Well, that's exactly what happened when Officer Daniels pulled over the wrong person. Now, to be fair, he thought he had the upper hand. He thought he was in control, but little did he know. He was about to try and arrest a judge, and not just any judge, the most powerful judge in the county. It was a quiet evening in a nice suburban neighborhood. Nothing out of the ordinary. Birds chirping, the sun setting, people out for their evening walks. And then, out of nowhere, sirens. Flashing red and blue lights lit up the street as a police cruiser pulled up behind a sleek black Mercedes. Behind the wheel, Judge Vanessa Carter. Now, Vanessa wasn't just any judge. She was one of the most respected legal minds in the state. Highly educated, well-spoken, and a firm believer in justice. But tonight, she wasn't in her courtroom. She was just driving, home from work. And she had no idea that this cop was about to make the biggest mistake of his career. Officer Daniels stepped out of his patrol car, puffing out his chest like he was some kind of action hero. The guy was young, cocky, and clearly looking for trouble. He stomped up to Vanessa's car, hand on his holster like he was about to take down a fugitive. "License and registration!" he barked. Vanessa, calm as ever, reached into her purse and pulled out her ID. "May I ask why I'm being stopped, officer?" Daniels smirked. "Oh, you know why. Now let's pause for a second, because this right here, this is when Daniels messed up. See, Vanessa hadn't done anything wrong. No speeding, no traffic violations, no broken tail light. But Daniels wasn't stopping her for any of that. No. He was stopping her because she was a black woman in a nice car, and in his mind, that was suspicious enough. Vanessa handed over her ID without flinching. Daniels glanced at it, then froze, because right there, in bold letters, was her title. Judge Vanessa Carter. Now, any smart person would have backed off immediately. But Daniels, he wasn't smart. He doubled down. "Well, well, well," he said, chuckling. "A judge, huh? That's cute." Vanessa raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" Daniels smirked. "I pulled you over because we got a report about a suspicious vehicle in the area. You match the description." Vanessa tilted her head. "Oh, and what's the description?" Daniels hesitated for half a second before answering. "A black female in a black Mercedes." Vanessa just stared at him. Because, let's be honest, that wasn't a description. That was an excuse. She could already tell what was happening. Profiling, targeting, power tripping, and she could have lost her temper. She could have called him out on the spot, but instead, she just smiled. Because she knew something that Daniels didn't. He was about to embarrass himself in the worst way possible, and all she had to do was let him. Vanessa could have ended this right now. She could have told him exactly who she was, laid out the law, and watched him squirm. But that would be too easy. No. She wanted to see just how deep Officer Daniels would dig himself before realizing he was already buried. Daniels, still riding his power trip, tapped her ID against his palm. "So, Judge Carter," he said, mocking her title, "what's a lady like you doing in a neighborhood like this?" Vanessa smiled. "A lady like me?" Daniels grinned. "You know what I mean." Vanessa leaned back in her seat, completely unbothered. She knew exactly what he was implying. He didn't think she belonged here, never mind that this was a wealthy community, never mind that she had lived in this neighborhood for over 5 years. In Daniel's mind, a black woman driving a luxury car? That was enough of a crime, and Vanessa, she, was about to let him embarrass himself even further. Daniels slapped a fake smile on his face. "Tell you what, Judge," he said. "Step out of the vehicle for me." Vanessa didn't move. "And why would I do that?" Daniels grinned wider. "Because I said so." Vanessa raised an eyebrow. "That's not how the law works." Daniels hated that. His smile vanished. "Step out of the car, Judge, or I'll have to assume you're resisting." "Oh." Bad move. Because threatening a judge? That's the kind of mistake that doesn't just get you fired, it gets you humiliated. Vanessa sighed, finally deciding to have some fun. All right, she said. Let's do this by the book. She pulled out her phone and hit record. Daniels' face twitched. What are you doing? Vanessa smirked. Making sure we document this little encounter properly. Daniels laughed nervously. You don't need to do that. Vanessa tilted her head. Oh, but I do. After all, you're asking a sitting judge to exit her vehicle without probable cause. That's, what's the word? Oh, right. Illegal. Daniels' face went pale. Wait, I didn't say. Vanessa held up a hand. No, you were doing so well. Please continue. Daniels opened and closed his mouth like a fish. For the first time he realized something was off. Something was very, very off. And then Vanessa delivered the knockout punch. Tell me, officer, Vanessa said, voice calm, steady, deadly. Do you know who I am? Daniels blinked rapidly. You're Judge Carter. Vanessa smiled. And do you know what kind of cases I oversee? Silence. Then Vanessa leaned in slightly and whispered, Police misconduct. Daniels looked like he had been hit by a train. His hands started shaking. His breath hitched, because now he knew exactly how badly he had screwed up. Daniels stumbled over his words. I didn't mean. Vanessa held up her phone. This entire conversation is recorded. Every word, every threat, every violation of my rights. Daniels looked like he might pass out. Listen, Judge Carter, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we can. Vanessa smiled. Oh, we didn't get off on the wrong foot, officer. Daniels gulped. Vanessa clicked her phone screen. Beep. Sending. This to my attorney, she said casually. Oh, and also to the police chief. Daniels physically flinched because his boss loved Judge Carter. And if that recording made its way to the right people, Daniels wouldn't just lose his badge, he'd lose his entire career. Daniels started sweating. I'll be all right, listen, he stammered. I was just doing my job. You were acting suspicious, and I was following protocol. Vanessa chuckled. Oh, so racial profiling is protocol now? Daniels's eyes darted around. I didn't say that. Vanessa tapped her phone. It's all right here. Every word. Daniel swallowed hard. Look, maybe we can just forget this. Happened? Vanessa laughed. Laughed? Oh, Daniels, she said, shaking her head. I think we're way past that. Daniels looked like he wanted to disappear. And the best part? He had no idea what was coming next. Because Vanessa, she wasn't done with him yet. Officer Daniels was sweating bullets. This wasn't just some random woman he had pulled over. This wasn't someone he could bully into submission, flash his badge at, and expect to walk away clean. This was Judge Vanessa Carter, and he had just illegally detained her. On camera. Now, any smart person would have backed off, apologized, and hoped for the best. But Daniels? He was about to make his biggest mistake yet. Daniels swallowed hard, wiping his sweaty hands on his uniform. He forced a laugh. Look, Judge Carter, let's just calm down, all right? No need to get the police. Chief involved. It was a simple misunderstanding. Vanessa tilted her head. A misunderstanding? Daniels nodded quickly. Yeah, I was just doing my job. You know how it is, right? Sometimes we get things wrong. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. Let's see if I understand this correctly. She tapped her phone screen. The recording played back perfectly. Daniels, smirking. A black female in a black Mercedes? That's the description. Daniels, mocking. Step out of the car, or I'll have to assume you're resisting. Vanessa. You realize that's illegal, right? Daniels, stammering. I didn't mean. Vanessa paused the audio. Then she looked. Daniels dead in the eye, you were saying? Daniels went pale. Look, Judge Carter, we don't have to make this a thing, right? I mean, you get it. The world is crazy, and I was just trying to be cautious. No harm done. Vanessa blinked slowly. No harm done? Daniels nodded eagerly. Exactly. No harm, no foul. Vanessa chuckled. Oh, Officer Daniels, she said, voice dripping with amusement. You have no idea how fouled up you are. Daniels flinched as Vanessa pulled up her contacts. Let's see, she mused. Who should I call first, the police chief, or maybe the district attorney? Daniels visibly twitched. Wait, what? Vanessa smiled. Oh, did I forget to mention? I work closely with the DA's office. They're going to love this recording. Daniel's hands started shaking. You're joking, right? Vanessa smirked. Does it look like I'm joking? Daniels looked around as if searching for someone to save him, but no one was coming. Then Vanessa pressed call. And just like that, Daniel's world came crashing down. As soon as Vanessa put the phone to her ear, Daniels panicked. I need to step. Back to my vehicle for a second, he blurted out. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. Oh? Trying to erase your body cam footage? Daniels froze, because yes, that's exactly what he was about to do. Vanessa smirked. I'd rethink that if I were you. Tampering with evidence? That's a whole other criminal charge. Daniels gulped, and then a voice answered the call. Judge Carter, what can I do for you? It was Chief Harrison. And Daniels? Daniels looked like he was about to throw up. Vanessa's voice was smooth as silk. Hey, Chief. I've got a little situation here with one of your officers, Daniels. He pulled me over, falsely accused me of being a suspect, and then tried to detain me for absolutely no reason. The line went dead silent. Then Chief Harrison spoke. Excuse me? Vanessa smirked. Oh, don't worry, I recorded everything. Daniels let out a weak noise, somewhere between a gasp and a dying animal sound. Chief Harrison's voice turned deadly serious. Where? Are you right now? Vanessa gave him the location. Stay put, Chief Harrison said. I'm on my way. Then, click. The line went dead. Daniel's mouth opened and closed. He's coming here? Vanessa leaned back in her seat, completely relaxed. Oh, absolutely, she said. And trust me, Officer Daniels, you're going to regret ever pulling me over. And the best part? Daniels still had no idea how bad it was about to get. Daniels stood there, frozen, as if time itself had stopped. His entire life was flashing before his eyes, because in just a few minutes, his boss, the chief of police, was going to arrive. And once Chief Harrison heard that recording, Daniels was finished. Vanessa Carter, meanwhile, was cool as ice. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't cursing. She wasn't even angry. She was just watching Daniels crumble, letting the weight of his own stupidity crush him. She had all the power. And Daniels, he had none. Daniels suddenly snapped out of his daze. He tried to put on his cop face, straightening up like he wasn't on the verge of a full-blown meltdown. Look, Judge Carter, he said, voice trembling. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. Oh, do tell. Daniels swallowed. I was just doing my job. I was told to be on high alert in this area. Maybe I overreacted. Vanessa tilted her head. Overreacted? Daniels nodded quickly. Yeah, that's all. No harm, no foul, right? Vanessa chuckled. Oh, Daniels, she said, shaking her head. You're acting like I'm the one who decides your fate. Daniels blinked. Well, what? Vanessa smirked. You see, I'm just the witness, the evidence collector, but the person deciding what happens to you, she leaned in. That would be your boss. Just then, screeching tires. A black, unmarked police vehicle pulled up. The driver's side door swung open and out stepped Chief Harrison. The man was in his early 50s, tall, broad-shouldered, and absolutely furious. His eyes locked onto Daniels immediately. Daniels visibly shrank. Daniels, the chief said, voice low and dangerous. Daniels swallowed. Sir, The chief held up a hand. "Save it." Then he turned to Vanessa. "Judge Carter," he said, voice completely respectful. "Are you all right?" Vanessa smiled. "Oh, I'm just fine, but I do have something for you." She held up her phone. Chief Harrison took it, pressed play, and then he listened to everything. As the recording played, Chief Harrison's expression went from serious to stone-cold rage. Daniels, meanwhile, he looked like he was going to pass out. By the time the recording ended, the damage was done. The chief took a deep breath, closed his eyes for a moment, then looked at Daniels with pure disappointment. "You absolute idiot," he muttered. Daniels flinched. "Sir, I swear it wasn't like that. She was being uncooperative." The chief tilted his head. "Oh? That's funny, because the only person I hear acting like a damn fool in this recording is you." Daniels opened his mouth, then shut it. Because what could he even say? "Chief." Harrison folded his arms. "Daniels, take off your badge." Daniels froze. Sir?" The chief's eyes hardened. "You heard me." Daniels hesitated for half a second. Then, slowly, reluctantly, he reached for his badge, unpinned it, and placed it in the chief's outstretched hand. Then the chief said something that made Daniels's soul leave his body. "You're suspended. Indefinitely." Daniels gasped. "Wait, what?" The chief narrowed his eyes. "I don't tolerate this kind of nonsense in my department. You embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed this uniform. And you embarrassed me." Daniels' hands shook. "Please, sir, just give me another chance." Chief Harrison shook his head. "You had your chance. You threw it away." Then he turned to Vanessa. "Judge Carter," he said, voice full of respect, "would you like to press formal charges?" Daniel's heart stopped. All eyes turned to Vanessa. Daniel's breath hitched, because in this moment she controlled his entire future. Vanessa looked at Daniels for a long, long time. Then she smiled. "Oh, Officer Daniels," she said sweetly, "I think you've suffered enough." Daniels exhaled in relief. "Thank you, ma'am. Vanessa held up a hand. "But let's be clear," she continued. "You may not be going to jail, but your career is over." Daniels's face fell. Chief Harrison nodded. "I'll make sure Internal Affairs has this report first thing in the morning." And just like that, Daniels's life was ruined. A few weeks later, Vanessa was back in her courtroom. And guess who had been officially terminated from the police force? Daniels. His suspension had turned into a full-blown firing. And the best part? Other departments refused to hire him. Word had spread fast. His name was now toxic in law enforcement circles. No department wanted a cop with a racial profiling scandal attached to his record. So where did he end up? Working security at a mall. Months later, Vanessa was shopping when she spotted a familiar face. Daniels. He was wearing a cheap security uniform, standing at the entrance of a department store. And when he saw her, his face turned bright red. Vanessa smirked. "Well, well, well," she said, grinning. "Looks like you finally found a job you're qualified for." Daniels looked like he wanted to disappear. But Vanessa, she just walked past him smiling, because karma? It always comes back around. Don't judge people based on your own ignorance. Because one day, you might just ruin your own life. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more awesome content. Don't forget to tap the bell icon to stay updated. Your support means the world.